Last year marked the 50th anniversary of the space mission that put man on the moon. One of the hidden figures who helped the U.S. compete in the space race lives right here in Minnesota. In this week's Voices for Change, Maury Glover looks at how Apollo 11 helped Dr. Reatha Clark King's career take off.
We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
When Apollo 11 blasted off from Cape Kennedy on July 16, 1969, the world watched as NASA fulfilled its mission to put a man on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The lunar landing launched the nation's space program into the stratosphere. But one of the people responsible for its success is still amazed at her accomplishment here on Earth.
Oh, I joined in the feeling of jubilation with all of the country. And those words, one small step, just sent music through my ears and chills through my body, and naturally a lot of cheers.
Fire has been a common theme for Dr. Reatha Clark King throughout her entire life. Her burning ambition to get an education came from picking cotton as a young girl growing up in southern Georgia.
To move away from the hot sun, you better get an education. Education with a path to success.
She fell in love with the sciences while attending Clark College in Atlanta, inspired by famous black scientist George Washington Carver, even though it was hard to tell some of her family members.
I went home for one Christmas, and my aunt, my mother's youngest sister, told me that I wouldn't find a husband if I majored in the science. I better study home economics so I can get a job.
Then, as the first African-American woman to be hired as a chemist at the National Bureau of Standards, King measured how much heat was generated by certain chemical reactions, eventually inventing a coiled tube that allowed hot liquids like fuel to cool instead of explode, a crucial component of rocket design in the NASA space program.
My particular assignment was to measure the heat of formation of a substance called oxygen difluoride, one of the most toxic, combustible materials you could find.
King says the day of the Apollo 11 liftoff, she was a bundle of nerves.
I thought it was catching fire. I thought everybody think it was going to explode.
But now she looks back on her contributions to the space program as her crowning achievement.
I feel pride for my country, for the opportunity. I was so excited to be a part of the venture. We had been anticipating the landing on the moon. That was an adventurous time.
King says as a black woman in the 60s, she was well aware while she was setting things on fire in her lab for her controlled chemical reactions, civil rights protesters were setting things on fire in the streets. Change
with a purpose. And I love that way of looking at life.
You know what we're doing here?
Trying to put a man into space, sir.
That's right.
Years later, she said watching the movie Hidden Figures about black female mathematicians working at NASA during the space race ignited a firestorm of feelings.
It brought back some powerful emotions, greater now than then, because I saw they show how black women were having such a wonderful role and how we were such forces behind those endeavors.
For her work, King received an Outstanding Performance Rating and the Meritorious Publication Award.
More than deserved. Oh gosh, yes indeed. It took me a long time.
They've got the flag up now.
And she hopes her example gets more young people of color to study the sciences and reach for the stars themselves, so the flame of discovery never goes out.
Inspire them, motivate them, give them that can-do spirit, not to doubt themselves, but to believe in hard work. This is my dream for them.
For Voices for Change, Maury Glover, Fox 9 News.
What a life, huh? King moved to Minnesota in the 1980s to become president of Metropolitan State University. She was also president of the General Mills Foundation, and last year she received a Civil Rights Legend Award from Governor Tim Walz.